Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Jen and Sharon, except that we have a surprise, not really a surprise guest today, a special guest. Eka Taylor is here instead of Jen because Jen is enjoying some summer fun. So Eka is one of our colleagues at your teen, and you have been to Coffee with Jen before when I was out of town, right, Eka?
Right, we did. We did that. I think we talked about organization. Oh my gosh. I guess I'm the go-to for organization.
Eka is an organizing guru. So anytime there's something that needs to be planned or kept track of or taken care of like that, Eka's the lady for it. So so today we're talking about back to school stuff with teenagers. And, when they're little, we get the supply list maybe, but there might be a different set of preparations for big kids. But before we get started, do you have coffee today, Eka?
Actually, no, I have my water bottle.
I have water too.
I know. I don't drink coffee at all ever. So yeah, but I always have water.
It's summer after all too. We got to stay hydrated.
Right.
Jen and I never have coffee either. As our regulars know, it's almost always tea or water. Someday we'll have coffee and someday we'll all three be together. So, Eka, one thing, kicking off our back to school preparations, one thing that I've been doing, which is new this year and that I never thought of before, is getting one of my teenagers in for a contacts exam and lesson. She's been wearing glasses since she was in first grade, and that's been fine, but she's been kind of interested in contacts. But then we just found out that the kids are going to have to wear masks this year at school.
Wow.
And she has this anti-fog spray for her glasses because, if you wear glasses, so when you wear a mask, do yours fog up?
Yep.
Yeah. And for wearing that for 6 or 7 hours in school and having your glasses fog up all day is really annoying. Like, I'm annoyed. I usually wear contacts. I'm annoyed when I have glasses on and I go somewhere and I'm like, oh, I didn't put my contacts in. So anyway, I thought, teenage years are a perfect time for contacts, but I also thought that was perfect for before she goes back to school and has to wear a mask with glasses all day long. And sometimes now is a good time if you can still schedule it to get those other appointments in. Pulling them out of school is so annoying in the middle of the day. And sometimes my teenagers complain, like, I can't miss that class because X, Y, or Z. And I don't know what they're doing in school anymore as much. So I don't know when is a good time for them to miss school for doctor's appointments. So now is better. Did you have any? So tell us how old your girls are now.
So I have a 24 and a 28-year-old. So this was actually a walk down memory lane. But before we go there, I do want to shout out to the moms and dads whose kids already went back to school.
Yes.
So sorry we didn't do this a month ago for you guys, because I know my niece has 4 kids and she posted back to school with pictures. They started yesterday in Indiana.
Wow.
So we're late for you guys if you've already started. No. And maybe you'll pick up some other things from this.
Or they can tell us. We always like to, in the comments, to hear from everyone. So if you've already started school, or tell us when you're starting school. Have you started yet? When do you start? Later this month? September? If you're on the East Coast, maybe. So just drop in the comments.
Though, isn't it? I mean, isn't it crazy?
I know.
That I couldn't believe it when she posted those pictures. I'm sure next week she'll be posting pictures of the kids saying, it's school picture time. And I'm going to be like, what? Because I know last year that happened when she did that. So yeah, for some people, they were already there, and maybe some of these tips will help jog their memory of other things they should do. But yeah, so my girls, like I said, are 24 and 28. So should we just jump in? And
yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you the first thing, and I was telling this to I took a bar class today, saw some friends, and I said, this is something that I started doing the first day of August. And this is so not organizational, but I said to them, I know you hate to have your pictures taken on the first day of school. I'm telling you now, I will be taking your picture on the first day of school. So put that into your brain, into your agenda. It will be happening. There will be no avoiding it. So that was how we knew school was starting, because I had to tell them that. But I will tell you that they hated it when they made fun of me. They had first day of school pictures and last day of school pictures their whole lives. when my daughters went off to college, they actually had their roommates take a picture of their first day
Oh,
of college, and they would send it to me. So as much as they hated it, they realized it was important to me. And then the best one was when my daughter is a pilot now, and when she went to flight school, her first day of school, she sent me a picture of her in her uniform next to her airplane.
oh, she was, see, they were listening and paying attention all
Right.
those years that it was important to you.
So that was really my number one school thing, to get ready to go back to school, was to make sure they knew they were having their picture taken. And
You know,
I know what I mean, it's trivial, but it's important to me.
I know, and I actually might put something on my calendar for the first day of school or the day before, because what I've been doing lately is missing my oldest child, because I'm like getting ready to go, everything's moving slowly, and then he leaves, and I'm like, I didn't get everybody in the picture, and then I only have the younger two, so I've got to get everybody in the picture, because they're so fun to look back on. They like them later too.
Right.
I like them.
I do too. And you know what? At the time, they're like, oh, Mom, we have a lot of standing by the car. The first day of school, with almost like you can see the eye roll. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. But I was like, I don't ask that much of you. I do, but I pull this. I don't ask that much of you. Let me just take a picture of you the first day of school. That's it. So that's a good one.
Along those lines, that makes me think of this: back to school shopping or choosing the first day of school outfit. Were your girls big on this is my first day of school outfit?
My older one, yes, and their senior year, where she went to school, is the first day of school, they got together and they made T-shirts for senior year that had like all these memories and stuff on them with glitter and whatever, puffy paint. And so the first day of school for seniors, they always wore their senior shirt.
Oh, that's fun.
That was for senior year. And then my younger one went to a girls' school where they had a uniform. So that was not a big deal because they were told what they had to wear. Like the first day was like whatever, the formal uniform. So they had to wear like the formal uniform the first day or whatever.
So in August, were you stocking up, like checking, like, does everything fit in the uniform, and do we need any more pieces and all that?
Yeah, you know what? Somewhat, I basically said, you know what? Let's go through and see what clothes you're not going to wear anymore.
Yeah.
And then they went to school first a little bit to see like what their schedule was going to look like and what kinds of things they wanted to wear, like what everybody, what was in, whatever. And so then maybe a couple of weeks into school, we would do a back to school shopping. How about you, Sharon? What do you do about that clothes thing? Oh, the fitting thing is like, if you're not wearing it, let's get rid of it right now.
Oh my gosh. For some reason, I feel like it's usually pulling teeth to clean out old clothes here, but we've been on a tear, and like my kids have been going through their closets, and I'm like, try it on, pull it out, get rid of it. If you don't like it, if it's a hand-me-down from your sister and you're not going to wear it, let's just give it to somebody. Right. So much stuff to pass on now, that it's incredible. And the next step is, Mom, I need to go shopping. Actually, I have one who grew 3 inches in the last year.
Oh my gosh. And
she definitely needs to go shopping. So, and we don't have a uniform. I grew up wearing a uniform.
I did too.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
But they have to wear something. So yeah, that's been something that's been on our mind lately. The other thing is sleep schedules. We've started talking about that. Did you like?
I tried. I did all. Let's start going to bed earlier. But it's not going to happen. I think I would have loved to have done that, and I wish, but I was really bad about it too. I'm just. It's gonna suck the first couple of weeks, and then everyone's gonna figure out their routine. But
right.
I know. We read about that. We advocate it. Reality doesn't work. I couldn't get it to work. Could you?
Some people just are like, well, it's going to suck if we do it before school starts or at school starts, when school starts. So let's just let it take its natural course and they'll fall asleep sooner. I don't know. What's funny, actually.
Does that work for you? Like, can you actually start a week or 2 weeks before and get them into a new routine?
We're not too good about doing that, but they also don't stay up. Well, my oldest does, but my kids don't usually step crazy late, but they are going to need to transition backwards. But here's what has happened in our house. We had this plumbing problem, and long story short, our house is 100 years old. So long story short, we're tearing out the whole bathroom because we had to get in the floor to repair this plumbing. So the guys started yesterday and they're demoing, and they show up at like 8 or 8:30 in the morning. So this does not work with my oldest sleep schedule. But I was like, maybe this is a good thing because they're going to wake you up every weekday morning, a little earlier than you'd normally get up. So maybe this will naturally get you back into your school year sleep schedule. So that's quite an alarm clock when you got a sledgehammer.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
A crowbar.
Oh, absolutely. But even 8 or 8:30 is still a little late for school. I know my kids got up earlier than that to go to school.
So it's gentle in a way because it's going from 9 or 9:30 or 10 even to 8 or 8:30, then, easing back, hopefully.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So another thing I have on my list is to get it for going back to school is the allocation of funds, like for parents, because all of a sudden their activities start up again.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, if they're playing sports or they're involved in any kind of activities, it's that initial, like, do you need, like for our daughters, do you need new point shoes? How's your bathing suit for your swim? So if, you have kids who are in music, do they need sheet music? So the funds that leave at the beginning of the year are just crazy. So that I remember getting a little shell shocked and then remembering in July, like we're about to have a lot of money just going out of here because along with school start all the activities too.
That's true. We're getting notices about band fees, like a music stand for a band and uniforms, and then
right.
Yeah.
And so that's more on us. That was more to get financially organized for us because it's a lot that startup at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it's not spread out evenly over the course of the year. Right. That's for sure. It's a big chunk.
It's a big chunk. And then also if they need new school clothes and then the school supplies. And then, I just remember feeling very depleted in August and September, financially for the stuff that happens. So that's something to consider also.
Not to mention computers. I don't know if your girls used computers. Well, they probably didn't bring them to school like a lot of the kids do now. So a lot of the schools do the school provided computers.
Right.
So that's not as much of an expense, but it is another thing to think about. Is it working properly? We just got a notice from the school, like check and make sure that your Chromebook is, charging and all this or that. But if you have to supply your own, that's another thing that now is the time and the expense to get that done.
Right.
So
that was a big one. I also remember this time, all the paperwork that needs to get filled out.
Yes.
And so I know that they would send it. Then when it became electronic, usually they brought this stuff home the first day of school and you ended up, 3 hours paperwork. But I know that it became electronic, so you can download them and fill it out. So I remember spending a couple days doing it because I didn't want to do it all in one time and looking everything up, doctors and dentists and all that for their slips. So this was a time also getting ready for school for me was getting permission slips and all that stuff.
That's a good reminder. And then sometimes you have to call up the doctor to get the copy of the physical and all that. And I have tried in the past, Eka, to get my teenagers to help fill out that paperwork, which I know it's a good thing to get them to help, but sometimes, and I have done it, but sometimes it's just like, it's going to take me so long to nag them and get them to sit down. And the volume, like have them fill out one maybe, and then like I'll knock out the rest because it's so annoying and we just need it off our plate. To get a taste of it.
Right. So. It's so funny because, you do this and they do some, whatever, and then they go off to college. And then I remember one of the things like, Mom, do you know how much paperwork I have to do? And I was like, yeah, I do. because then they realize when they have to do it themselves,
Yeah.
that how much work all of that is, and getting numbers and all that, I remember them calling me saying, can you send me the number of, whatever, my pediatrician, my dentist, my eye doctor, all for these forms, whatever. So that's something to do for them.
That's a great thing I'm thinking of right now. My, one of my teenagers just got her first phone. What I should do right now is share the contact. You can share the information and just have her save it in her phone. She doesn't need it now, but then it'll be there, because who cares if you have another contact? It doesn't bother her, but she'll have it. So I'm going to do that after we get off the phone. Then she can't say she doesn't have it. Oh, I'll share it with the other kid too, who's never had it before.
There you go.
Anything else?
Great, Sharon, putting more things on your to-do list.
Well, that is a pretty simple one. Anything that involves pushing buttons on the iPhone, unfortunately, I seem to handle more of that than I need to. If having the phone in front of me, that stuff gets done. It's the other stuff that doesn't get done. Summer reading, we haven't talked about that, but I'm kind of trusting it's going to happen in my house. I've mentioned it a few times, and I think it's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. We have 3 weeks. 3 weeks from today.
But are your kids readers?
Yeah, typically.
They just don't want to do the summer reading.
Well, the one has to read like actual textbook chapters for an AP high school course, and that's not exactly fun summer light reading. So I kind of sympathize with the desire to wait a little bit on that. I think he's going to do it pretty soon.
Is it for A-Push?
Yeah, AP. Yeah,
AP US History.
Yeah.
Do they call it A-Push?
They do call it A-Push, but when I was growing up, we didn't call that. We didn't call it that. I think it's so cute.
I do too.
Oh, Jill, school starts Monday. That's soon. That's just a few days from now.
You know what? Jill, that you say that, one of the things that our schools did, which I thought was great, is they didn't start on a Monday. So you got a little bit of, like, they started on a Tuesday or Wednesday. So you didn't go like a full week that first week.
For the teachers too, right? The teachers are probably exhausted with it starting on a Monday.
Yeah. So I remember there was like a teacher, you could open house the day before, but they didn't start until a little bit like midweek so that you eased into it.
Mine are starting on a Wednesday this year.
Yeah, so I think that makes a difference too. I think that hitting them the first full week is killer. I mean, that is hard. So Jill, good luck with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we should let everybody go, and feel free to keep dropping your comments on the chat and tell us what your best tips for going back to school are. We always need more. And Eka, thank you so much for joining us.
Let me guess, you're going to do like holiday organization. You'll have me back, right?
You're welcome anytime. We should have one where you and Jen and I are all here together. Of course, that's kind of, if you haven't seen our Monday behind the scenes, we usually have as much of the whole team as we can on Mondays. So we're all together then. But yeah, you're always welcome. I love talking organization because I'm not naturally organized. So I love getting all the tips.
Yeah. I try, this was really good for me to go back and look, because some of the stuff, can still help, because I still talk to my girls and I'm like, and I still kind of remind them of some stuff. Hey, have you thought about, so this is good for me to go back to, and, I kind of keep them on their toes. I'm never going to stop momming.
Yes. And don't you think even as an adult, September kind of feels like a new year, like even though we're not starting school, I don't know, the weather changes, it feels like a fresh start. So
yeah, it does. It feels like everything starts then. So, all right. Well, thank you for having me on here, Sharon.
Anytime, Eka. Bye, everybody. We'll see you soon.